We're live? Oh, I think we're live, so we gotta start off like this.
With the MP Bros, the MP Bros, the MP Bros, the MP Bros. Learn something.
I'll play it again. Say I won't do it. Y'all wanna hear one more time? We'll get some people in here. We're gonna do it real one more time. Oh, I'll do it here. I'll do it here. See, I'm learning this new. Oh.
With the MP Bros, the MP Bros, the MP Bros, the MP Bros. Learn something.
We got some eyes on us. All right, that's it. No more. I promise y'all, no more. Let's get me on here. What's up, everybody? Luis Moyano, MP Bro 1. Where's MP Bro 2 at? I need him here, but it's pretty awesome, right? Like what we do, we're completely independent, right? So let me back up a little. Before I go where I'm about to go, let me back up a little bit. First of all, the people watching, appreciate you all being here with me as we're trying this new live format of just literally doing it as we are and as we go. So happy to be here. So to give you a little background on me, my name's Luis Moyano. I've been in the life insurance field for about 6 years. I've done Medicare, I've done ACA, I've done life insurance, and I asked myself, I'm like, you know what? Where has the most profitable time for me been? And it went back to when I was selling mortgage protection life insurance. So what is mortgage protection life insurance? Mortgage protection life insurance is when you get to sit down with a family, right? Or talk to a family, and they have just recently either bought a home, they just refinanced, maybe they took out a HELOC. But guess what? This person, this family, it's now the perfect candidate for the ones that are going to be able to protect their assets, right? That simple. So for anyone that just recently refinanced or bought a house, now you have this big asset, and God forbid anything happened to you and your income was to go away. Well, now your family might be in a bad position if they can no longer afford that. So what a great concept, right? Let me go ahead and make sure that we put a life insurance plan that has tons of benefits and it ranges for every single person to be able to protect that. But what does that do, right? That allows me as an agent to feed my family because of the sales that I make. Now, what's cool about it is that in this business of simplified life insurance, there are different ways and different targets that you can go for. Some people are going for these IULs. You know, a lot of people go for the annuities, and there's a big final expense marketplace because of the amount of baby boomers that we're getting, which completely makes sense. So on that final expense side, it's going to be more simplified issue. But either way, on the simplified issue process, all that means is that there's going to be no blood work, right? The decision is going to be made just by looking at your health history, what medications you have been prescribed, and what things you may have been diagnosed with. And based on that, they're going to be able to approve you. And most of the time, the approval happens immediately, right? So it's super cool. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that's pretty much what we do. We like to make sure the families we're protecting are covered right away on the spot. And additionally to that, what's also cool about that is that we follow a system set up by the number one producer in the country for simplified issue life insurance. What I'm telling you, this guy sells around $2 million a year on his own pen. I am not kidding. Right? So, Brandon Hall, if you're watching this, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for putting this together for us. What a great company. What a great system you have established. And we have the scripts, we have the recordings, we have the trainings. We legit follow all that step by step on how he does it. And now all we're trying to do is become mini Brandons, right? And be able to follow his steps. He shows us the rebuttals. He shows us how he goes about it. He does live calls. I mean, like, it's amazing. So if you're joining us, if you're going to come sell with us, just know that you're also joining Unitrust. You're joining Brandon and his way of going about it and doing things. Super excited. So, as you guys know, Mike Waranch does this podcast with me, and I promise you guys he's coming. But he's like, Luis, you won't believe this. I had a call in right before this, and he's finishing up an application. He told me he's not going to be too far behind, so he's going to be joining us on here. And there's a couple nuggets we're going to talk about. Before he gets here, I want to establish something with you guys. I want to kind of just talk about why I'm here, right? What this opportunity truly looks like and what it actually is. So, if anyone here is watching right now, go ahead and share this and use this because this is going to be like so helpful. When it comes to insurance companies, right, there's going to be two segments of how you can make money. The first one is writing on your own pen. With us as a company, anyone that's brand new comes in at a 70% compensation rate. That means if you sold a policy and they're paying $83, and we talk about I'm sorry, a comment just came in. What's up, Michael? He says, well, we will talk about AMAM today. We spoke about AMAM today. AMAM is one of our carriers. We spoke about that in the previous training. Coming on to here, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit more about mindset and how to be able to just stay positive right here as we go through this. Okay. But sorry, I jumped off here. Let me kind of break down a little bit of the opportunity of what this is, right? So, anyone brand new, they come in at a 70. If you have a little experience, it might be a little bit of wiggle room, but you have got to show that you've done this and you know what to do and you don't have to have your hand held because we're going to teach an agent how to be able to sell this mortgage protection life insurance. This is not rocket science. I did not graduate top of my class. I was not, the smartest guy out there. I've always been successful in everything I do, but definitely not the smartest guy. And I passed my insurance license, the test, on the first try. I came in and I knew that I was good with people. I knew that I love selling and I started doing it face to face. So let's back up. Now, going into the sales, right, on your own personal pen, everyone starts at 70%, and then you can work your way up all the way to 120%, and that's where it's capped with this company. The reason why it's set up that way is because it's going to be simple for you to be able to sell and have your compensation go up as a reward. Honestly, it is set up amazing. And here's the reason why, or one of the reasons why. I've been with a couple of different IMOs, right? Independent marketing organizations. And when I started this, I've learned that there's different ways that other companies do it. The first company I started with, they would give everyone high compensation. You get 100, you get 110, you get 120. And they would tell the upline managers only to have 5 or 10 points on the people that are bringing on. All right. And then you're building up as they bring people in, maybe only 5 to 10 points above them. So a very small override. They would say, don't be greedy, think of everybody else. But the reality is that it does take time. It takes effort to be able to help an agent that knows nothing or minimal on how to do this. And we are not only going to help you, Mike and myself, we have a team of individuals in our group, and we have a team of individuals in the company that want to see you succeed. So you come in. The moment you sell $5,000 for the month, which if you're in insurance, you know that's not a hard thing to do, your compensation already goes up. Now, no manager approval is needed. No company is going to, say, hey, we shouldn't move them up or nothing along those lines. This is simply based on merit. You earned it. It's yours, right? So you hit that 5K, issue paid your first month, your compensation's already going into next month at 75. Next month, you hit 7,500, boom, you're already at 80. You hit your first month of 10,000, boom, you're at 85, and so on. I have a trajectory. I have a sheet. If you want to see all that, how it works, reach out to me. You see my email right here, right? I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to share and have a conversation with you about this. But so that's how on your personal pen you're able to get paid, right? Let's say that you are at 100%. And on that 100%, you're able to sell products that are also giving you level commission. So if I sell a product for $83.33, that means that my commission is going to be $1,000. Let's make it even easier. Let's say that my commission is going to be, oh, wait a second. Mikey's telling me that he's here, but I'm not seeing him. Let me try this. Hold on. Oh, my fault, guys. Sorry. He's not. I'm not seeing my boy. I get my boy in here. Let me see if I can try it. Okay, and so my commission would be on $83 1,000. Let's just say it's $100 a month, right? My commission there would be $1,200. What's cool about it is that the company will advance you 75%. 12 months in a year, 75% is 9 months. So you get a 9-month advance at $100 at 100% compensation rate. You're getting a $900 check of one sale. Some people don't make that in a week. Some people, don't make that in 2 weeks, man. But that's a reality here. You can sell one policy that's just $100 and you're getting deposited $900 the very next morning if you do it right. And so all that is available for you guys to also be able to do. Now, clearly, the lower your compensation is, that 900 would get a little bit less, right? But who's going to limit you on how many policies you can sell a week? Mike, that's coming on here, I think this week has sold like 15 policies already. I think I sold like 7, 8 policies myself. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. You're just going to follow the system, right, that we teach you, and you sell policies and you get paid. And as you do that, your compensation keeps increasing. But then the whole point of this is that nobody wants to be the one that's going to be selling forever, right? You don't want to be the one. You eventually want to get to a position to where you're doing cool things like this, where you have a little more freedom on your time. It takes a lot of hard work, but if you're able to bless other people with the same oh, do I have him? There he is. Let's get him going. Right there he is, my man.
Yeah,
Let
baby.
me finish this thought that I have, because I'm explaining about the building side of things, and I'm kind of going over the individual compensation and also what it's like to build a team, right? Because the whole goal is to be able to build a team here, man. Like, we want to make sure that we pass on the opportunity to everybody else, just like how it's been passed on to us. And so, with that being said, when you build a team, if you're now worked your compensation up because you've earned it over your income, well, maybe you're at 80 already because you had your second month of 7,500 and you bumped up that fast. The moment you bring somebody in and they do exactly the same things you did, well, you're going to have a 10% override from them, and then a 15%, and then they're going to bring somebody else, and then you're going to have that override over them. But the bottom line is that it builds. Imagine you get to a spot to where your compensation is maybe 100, 105, right? Because you've been doing so well, and you bring some agents in at 70%. They're still able to make money, feed their families, learn, grow, but now you're getting about 30 points, right? So on $1,000 commission policy, $300 is coming to you for being able to build. And don't get me wrong, you want to encourage them to have their compensation go higher and to do it exactly the way that you did it with them, so that they're able to bring somebody else. What do you, right, Mike, you're following along here, right? Like, about the
Yeah,
bull.
I forgot that I was supposed to be participating. I was just enthralled by what you were saying. I'm just zoned in, man. No,
No, it's all good.
that's good stuff.
That's exactly
It's
it. And
go ahead, go ahead.
that's exactly it. Like, that's the whole concept of being here, right? And so let's address really quick all these people that are out there that talk about pyramid schemes, right? This right here is a MLM. What would you say to these people?
I mean, all right. So here's my thing about pyramid schemes. First of all, conceptually, I believe pyramid schemes are illegal. I think like that's like that phrase is meant for like an illegal structure like that. I don't know if it was Enron or whoever did that originally, but it's got an incredibly negative connotation with it. So I like really try to stay away from that. MLM, like I can see why there would be a comparison, but MLM is like you just pick a product and start selling it and try to get other people to sell it with you. There's no licensing required. There's no real some training just for like however they're gonna, their little differentiators between other makeup brands or whatever it is that you're choosing to sell in your MLM. But it's not, to me, MLM is more of like a side hustle, like something people do kind of passively to make a little bit of extra money, and a true career that can give you and your family financial freedom, abundance, fulfillment, and the ability to make massive impact. So for me, I don't really think there's any true correlation except for the fact that at a kind of like a conceptual level, every single sales organization is structured similarly to what people call like an MLM type model.
Yes. Dude, exactly what I wanted to go with it. Like, that makes so much sense to me. And I hope that if you're watching and you're thinking, well, it's a scam, it's fake, it's not real, it's an MLM, that you get that this is not an MLM, right? Technically speaking, if you have a job right now, well, the boss is making more money than you, and I guarantee you that he has a boss is probably going to be making more money than him, and he probably has a boss and then a boss, right? But not only that, now for you to move up, you have to wait for your boss to either get promoted or get kicked off, right? Get canned, so that maybe you can take that. But it's not just you that's fighting for that spot. You now have all those same people in the same pool that says, "Oh no, I want to work my way up," or maybe let's go to the next company I can move up. F that. Like, why? Dude,
you wanted to say it so bad. It took everything in you to say F that.
I'm biting my tongue so hard. Like here, dude, Mike is a beast. I do great, but Mike's a beast. And there is zero sense of jealousy other than I want to be that amazing, right? But there's zero sense of jealousy of like, hey, that guy took my job. That guy took my sale. That's the person that should have been sitting with me. No, he bought his leads. He worked his leads. He sold them. Like, well, I am happy for you, Mike.
Well, this is what I talk about so often in terms of what makes this industry and our culture in particular so special, right? Because it's exactly like you were saying, right? If we're both working in a W-2 corporate environment, there's 10 of us in the department and we all want that manager job. So if you're being successful, that means that I probably am not. There's only one promotion available, so I am almost set up to want you to fail. Now, obviously, that doesn't sound like it's breeding a healthy work environment. Me being like, oh, I want Luis to fail, even though he's my boy. Like, that makes no sense. Whereas in this environment, like you said, we could be licensed in the same states and we still won't be calling the same leads. So like my ability to be successful has nothing to do with your ability to be successful. So you could do 15, 20, 30 grand in a week, and so can I. So it doesn't mean there's no, like you said, there's no jealousy. I can just be happy for you and just be your cheerleader because you're being successful because you're working hard and you're doing the right things and your mindset's in the right place and you're doing all the things that we know we need to do. So if I'm not doing that, I can't get mad at you because you are, because my lack of success has nothing to do with your success. So it creates such an incredible environment to just be surrounded by cheerleaders, by people who want you to be successful and achieve your goals because it doesn't negatively impact them. I mean, that's very unique. I mean, don't you feel that way? It's crazy.
It's the best. Like, I will never go back to being an employee. I can't, like, dude, if I don't want to work today, it's going to hurt my pocket because I'm going to put in policies in, but I get to make that choice, right? And
well, if I make that choice, fact of the matter, Luis, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I mean, you could work probably 6 months in this job, take the other 6 months off, and I bet you'd still make more money than you'd make in most full-time W-2 jobs.
That's not a lie. That's not a lie. We talk about it all the time, the opportunity to make doctor money. But beyond that, right? So like we were talking about building and what building can do for you, right? Because it's just the reason why it's such an opportunity here is because of the structure, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone comes in at 70. You're brand new, you're coming in at 70. Your increases, your compensation increases are not determined by your manager. They're completely up to you and your production. So the more that you produce, the higher you earn. That's simple. Right? My override that I'm going to make is going to be based on you and then how I'm going to help you get there. And I'm going to help you build a team too, so that you have the same opportunity that I have. Like, ridiculous, right? And the ones that come in with that mindset right from the get-go saying, this is a huge opportunity. How do I capitalize on this opportunity today? Right? Those are the ones that can understand, like, hey, maybe you don't have to be a $100,000 producer a month. Maybe you're okay doing 20, 30 a month, but then you're also going to be able to focus on bringing more people in and teaching others how to do that and bringing and the culture here. My God, it's amazing, right? So there's just so many good things. But then there's your two pillars. Your pillar number one, it's going to be your strongest one at first, where you're selling, and then your pillar number two will eventually start creeping up. But if this pillar starts taking off, wow, just let this like skyrocket. You won't even have to have your other pillar in place because there's going to be so much overrides coming in. and your job is now going to be to manage, to keep recruiting, to help your teams grow, to grow to higher teams, and then that just means that much more opportunity within the company. It's amazing, man. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and to your point, it's kind of one of the things that I think people love about this industry, and also people are terrified of this industry, is that you get to choose your level of success. I mean, literally, you want to make more money, you run more appointments, you work a little bit harder. You get to choose it. So that's where I think people, like, the difference between people who succeed and people who fail in this industry are whether or not you're willing to really bet on yourself. And I mean, really bet on yourself. I'm not talking about like dip your toe in the water and be like, oh, let me see if I can have some success. I'm talking about you got to jump in with 2 feet and go at it and be like, this is the path. I will not fail, and your life will change for the better in a million different reasons. But if you go 1 foot in and just kind of test it out a little bit, you're never going to achieve what you want to achieve because you're not giving yourself a fair shot. This is not meant, you can have success as a side hustle in this business, depending on what your financial goals are, but you got to go all in it if you really want to achieve like the Luis Moyanos and the Brandon Halls and the Ken Joslins and the Grayson Hughes and the Nick Robles. Like, if you want to accomplish what these guys are accomplishing, you got to bet on yourself.
And it's such a
go all in, no out, no look.
Seriously, don't dip your toe in the water, dive into the end zone, right, or the deep end, and learn how to swim right off the bat. It's just everyone talks about it. The people that are successful here or have been, there's just no plan B, right? If he can do it, why can't I? And if he can do it, so will I. Do I have to work harder than him? Maybe I'm not as talented, but they say every time effort outweighs talent.
Oh
all
my
day.
God. What's the quote? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Ooh, I like that one better. I thought that was the quote. I was like, I thought I just said the quote, Mike.
Yeah, we just said it. What do you mean? But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is mindset today. So I think that's I want to get your thoughts on this, Louis. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to lead into this because I know that we talked a little bit about it. We're messaging back and forth, and mindset was going to be what we're going to be touching on today. But you had something just kind of click for you recently that you were like, man, I saw this one video, right? And you never know what you're going to come across, but you saw a video and it hit you. So like, Mike has been having a killer of a week. He always does, but Mike's having a killer of a week, and he just came in with a brand new fire under him. Tell me a little about that, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It's amazing what can happen when you keep promises to yourself. It's really easy to spiral in this business, and 3 bad appointments turns into 9 bad appointments, which turns into 3 bad days, and then turns into a bad week. And you're like, oh my God, I do not know how to sell insurance. And it can feel that way sometimes. And then, motivation comes in because the rejection, and like, I was facing a lot of that where, like, look, don't get me wrong. I was still selling plenty of policies, but was falling very, very short of my goal. And I start spiraling, and I'm like, I'm not in a good place mentally. And am I enjoying this? And like, it's like an uphill battle to run the volume of appointments that I know I need to achieve my goals. And I'm like, I feel like it's lost its luster. And I was talking to my wife about this, and I'm like, I feel like I need a break. I'm like really struggling from this. And then, of course, I talk to her. I call Chris Fateau, who is, you guys hear us talk about him on almost every episode here. And he is just like the world's greatest mentor in this business and in life. I mean, just a phenomenally helpful human being. Amazing.
We love you, Chris.
Yeah, and so I was talking to them, and what I realized was it had nothing to do with what was happening on the other end of the phone, of people telling me no or people telling me yes or whatever. It came down to my mindset. It was an inside job. My struggles that I was having with running the volume of appointments and like wanting to do it had nothing to do with anything except what was going on in here. And so once I realized that, I don't know if any of you guys have had do this as well, but I'm a little bit of a saboteur. I self-sabotage. When things start going well for me, I always find a way to sabotage myself. And I was going through a hard time here. And what I realized was that I was not doing the things that I know I need to do to feel how I want to feel and achieve what I want to achieve. So if I know that I'm not doing those things, whether it's meditations, whether it's listening to Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, whether it's going to do workouts or taking walks or eating better or getting better sleep or connecting with my wife and my kids and myself more, whatever it might be. And for the record, it was all of it. But whatever I wasn't doing, I know that I need to do, and I just wasn't. So it wasn't like the business was going bad or I forgot how to sell insurance. I wasn't doing the things that I know I need to do to be successful. So I listened to this Joe Dispenza podcast clip that I sent to you and the team yesterday. It's about 15 minutes long, and it's all about negative habits and negative mindset and how to make those changes. And so I just started immediately implementing the things that I already knew I was supposed to be doing, but for whatever reason chose to sabotage myself for the past month and a half, 2 months. So I start doing those things, and immediately, same day, things turn around. Like I'm a big believer in the power of manifestation. And when you show up with a different energy and a different vibration, that law of attraction becomes very, very real. And so that's what I started doing. It's just kind of change my mindset, keep the activity going, and try to take a different approach to it from a mental perspective. And it's been a good week.
I absolutely love that. And ready, I'm gonna shock you a little bit here. In the video, he talks about how he is now the resistance, right, becomes part of your being, and your body becomes habitual to doing and behaving in certain patterns. So now you have to break it with your mind so strongly that you're kind of chipping away at a rock, like a little bit at a time, and eventually you're gonna get through it. But as long as you're able to stay concise and you change it, you literally need to change your mindset. That today I'm gonna think differently, and then you want to meditate and think about thinking differently, and then through the day you want to keep reminding yourself of thinking differently, and eventually you're gonna start thinking differently. And I thought that was so powerful because, like, I don't know what you call it, a saboteur, a self-sabotager. Hey man, that's me in many, many ways. And it gave me, and this is part of the reasons why I feel like you and I not only do a great job in the podcast together, like we're both successful at this, but why we lift each other, right? Like outside of me, like, and we talk once or twice a day, we'll message each other, but like I feel like I know Mike. I was like, I don't feel like Mike's like feeling like the way that he normally does. Right. And then boom, look at this, back in the podcast, back at it. Got his great smile here with us today. He already sold the policy just now. Did you close that?
Yeah. It was great. And this is where the mindset comes in, right? This is exactly what I wanted to talk about, because I was having, like, what Joe Dispenza was talking about, what you were just talking about, that we both watched within the past couple of days, is really him helping us be aware of our subconscious thoughts, right? Because 95% of the day is operated by our subconscious. We're just on autopilot, thinking the same thoughts, doing the same actions, repeating the same habits. This is what we do every day. So if we can take time to be conscious of our subconscious thoughts and change those. So I noticed I was thinking, man, I can't run 15 appointments today. It just sounds like too much. That's exhausting. I don't have the energy for it. And then I caught myself and I'm like, that's such a BS story that I just made up. Like, that's so stupid. I'm excited. Like, I have I said this I did a Tony Robbins exercise where it's like, what is your current belief and what is your new belief that's going to replace it, right? And my new belief, because my old belief was that, like, I don't want to say the same thing every day, and the monotony of saying the same script over and over again has gotten challenging. And then when I reframed it as that, if 3 years ago, someone would have come to me and said, I will give you $500,000 a year, but you have to say the same thing every time you work, I would have jumped through the roof at that opportunity. Are you kidding me? I would do that a million times out of a million. So I was like, so what am I complaining about? I have this incredible opportunity to change my life. I have financial freedom, time, abundance for me, my family, my wife, my kids. Like, what am I bitching about? And so that shift in mindset then changed everything with my approach. And so now I finished setting my appointments for today, and I had about 30 to 45 minutes. So I start dialing to do one call closes. Feeling motivated again, right? My mindset's in the right place. And then
what did you call? Just leads you hadn't touched?
I called leads that I had either not touched or were just retirement age people that I knew would be home and kind of looking for company. I don't care how old the lead was. If they were 65 or older, or I hadn't called them, they got a call from me this morning in that 45-minute time frame. So I get this woman on the phone, and the timing just worked out perfectly, and it ended up being a one call close that put me over the 20K mark in APV for the week, which I'm so excited about from a mindset perspective because I've been struggling. So it was huge, and again, it was just a shift in mindset that kind of remotivated me and reinvigorated me. And so here we are, man. I felt really lucky that I'm kind of in a better mind space now because it sucks being in the other side.
I feel so grateful to be part of this podcast with you and to hear that, and for you to like also like Chris is your therapist, he's also mine, but so are you mine, because like we go through these ups and downs, you know, and it's easy, and especially when it's just it wasn't so much not going its way for Mike, it was more of just like the the same thing over and over. I can't say
With
the
the
word.
monotony.
That's the word.
You're 100% right. But I think the easiest way to to break down how I was feeling was like, I felt like that I had to push very hard every day to motivate myself to do the things that I know I need to do. That's not normally how I feel. I don't normally feel like I'm pushing. I normally feel like, and what I want to feel like is like I'm being pulled towards this goal, right? So if I'm being pulled towards it, it requires much less effort. It's more in flow. I just show up and do my thing. And I felt like I was pushing. So that change has allowed me to, again, feel like now I'm like, okay, I'm back in flow and like moving, being pulled towards where we want to go.
Be like water, he said.
That's right.
That's amazing. And it made me think of Josh Boxer. He's one of our teammates. He's fairly newer and getting started, but we went to one of the Top Golf events where we had a training ad, and he sat down and he just picked Brandon Hall's brain, right? And Brandon, it's like, you know, the question that he asked him, he's like, you know, what is it that allows you to just be so consistent? Like, why is it that you're the one that is, you know, writing 25K consistently or more a week when others are not? You know, there's a couple of things. One, he's like, well, I probably invest more than most people do into the business. True.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, every morning I remind myself that this is exactly where I want it to be. Yeah. And I'm here now. And the opportunity for me to capitalize on it is here right now. Am I going to waste that, or am I going to make the best of that? Man, it's just to hear that was the mindset of the number one producing in the whole world, in the whole country, when it comes to doing what we do and saying, hey, this is exactly where I want it to be. Yeah. Right. And if you're watching this, you may not be exactly where you want to be, but if you take that mindset, you have the same exact opportunity that he had.
That hit home for me. I heard that too. I think Josh shared that on our team call a week or two ago, and it really hit home for me. Because what I realized was that Brandon is the number one simplified issue insurance producer in the country. But there's no question about it. But what I realized was that Brandon is not special in certain areas. He's not better on the phones than most people. He's not like the most socially skilled person on the planet. He doesn't have like some superhuman work ethic. What makes Brandon special is his discipline and his consistency and his willingness to reinvest in the business. He'll buy as many leads as it takes to hit his goal. He's going to do the activity that he knows he needs to do every day, and he's going to show up the same way with the same discipline every single day, and that's what it takes. That's what makes him special. His discipline, his consistency, and his mindset. That's why he's special. We can all be special like that, though. It's a choice.
Yeah, no, it's 100% a choice. So now that we're in this mindset vibe, right? I personally had a call with Brandon that kind of like humbled me a little bit on like the things that I could shift. And through that, one of the feedbacks that I was given, and this talking on the microphone just comes so natural to me. Like, it's just what I enjoy doing, right? But at times, my previous background, like we've discussed, this was just doing events. So every now and then, I might be a little more flamboyant, a little more energetic, a little more hosty with it. And then Chris goes, gotta stop being less hosty. And then Brandon feels, it sounds like, I don't know, I'm like a little hosty. Like I put the words in his mouth. He goes, yeah, that's a good way of explaining it, you know? And he goes, yeah. And it's like that maybe the flow's not going so well. So I was oh my God, I was fighting myself. I was fighting myself so much on my delivery, and my numbers were affected because I was trying to change the way that I am. It wasn't so much about changing who I am. It was just changing the structure on how I was just reading the script. So now I just changed to literally, I am 100% on script, but still completely being myself.
Yeah.
And I have not had as much fun as I've had this week selling insurance. Dude, I'm cracking up. I'm laughing with these people on the phone. It's so cool.
You've been smashing it this week, man. You've had monster apps that you've been getting in, and I believe I haven't looked at the leaderboard, but you got to be top 10 in the company. Have to be top 10 in the company this week. And guys, I got to take a time out here for a second, Luis. And I don't know how many people are listening to this, but if you're listening, focus in on this part. Luis is a top producer in this company. Absolute top producer in this company, and has been for all 8 or 9 years that he's been doing it. Did you guys hear him say that he reached out to Chris and Brandon for feedback as to how he can do better, how he can service the clients better, how he can make more money, how he can sell more policies, how he can show up better as a top producing insurance agent? This is a top producer. He's humble enough to reach out and reach up to get the advice and feedback and constructive criticism he needs to achieve his goals. So don't think for 1 second that you're too far along or too good or whatever to get the help that you need. That's ridiculous. Be humble enough to achieve your goals. And most of the time, you're going to need help from someone who's doing better than you. Kudos to you, Luis, man. That takes a lot of balls to reach out when you're already achieving the way you are, man. Really, that's amazing.
Thank you so much, right? And there's levels to this, right? I want to be at the Mike Waranch, Brandon Hall level. And that comes with consistency. Do I have some great months that I do over 40,000? Yeah. Do I have more months where I'm around the 30, 35K month? Yeah. That's not too bad, right, guys? Like, I'm complaining about, I know, poor me. I'm complaining about 30, 35,000. But like, whatever. We all have different needs. We all have different lifestyles, you know. I want to be able to sustain what I have for my family and provide more, you know, and it comes with more. So I know that I can. I know that I can. I know that I can be consistently doing 15 to 20,000 a week, and there's no reason why I should not be able to be there. So I am hard on myself of saying, 100%. What do I need to do to tweak to get there? I'm also the same guy that will walk into the same wall 14 times before knowing I should probably walk around this wall. So I think myself. I know it about myself. So now, like Mike's talking, it's about changing the subconscious that I have going on and reframing myself. And I think my wife has been telling me, baby, if you watch this, shut it off right now. Because you've been telling me this for a while, you know. So I'm amazing. I have everything God given to be able to just be the #1 sales rep in the country. I just got to rewire myself a little bit better to take that. So I'm so excited. The next rewiring that I want to do is to just grow this team and truly help people. You know, I'm going to be reaching out to Chris. I'm going to be reaching out to some of the other people that are doing and just implementing more, because it's what we deserve. And you and I, we provide so much value to so many people that we love doing. We just want to keep doing that, you know?
Absolutely, man. It's a very special business. And I agree with you that you absolutely have all the God-given talent and ability to be the #1 producer in the country as well. And that's kind of what's frustrating about this business too, is like, I feel like we have these skills and I feel like we're doing the right things, but we just don't do enough of it. It's literally that simple. Like Brandon was talking about this on the training yesterday. More activity equals more money. It's literally that simple. It is not rocket science. There's not some like complex formula. Like the lady that I talked to this morning, who I one call closed, the only reason that worked out is because I was calling a boatload of people and I happened to come across someone who was a laydown. They wanted it. I was there to help. The timing was perfect. And the more people you call and the more people you talk to and schedule appointments with, the more laydowns you're going to get.
Yeah.
People reach out to me all the time and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I feel like you get calls back all the time about people wanting to buy insurance from you that you've talked to a week ago or a month ago or whatever it was. Like, why do you get so many calls back? I don't. The reason that it seems that way is because I run so many more appointments than most people that the percentage of people calling me back is probably the same. But, you know, 5% of 100, that's going to be 5 callbacks. Whereas 5% of 50, it's going to be less callbacks. You know what I mean? So if I run more appointments, even though we're getting the same percentage of people calling us back, I'm getting so many more callbacks as it seems because I'm running so many more appointments.
This is, I'm like standing up slowly with the table, but this is where you got to give yourself a little more credit, right? Because ultimately, yeah, it's coming down to production and the amount of people you're talking to, more people, and that's why you're getting more callbacks. But you also do such a great job during that call to just be able to be so agreeable for these people, right? So present, so engaging, so saying like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna leave you off with like a maybe, like I'm literally not gonna make a decision right now, but you just delivered it so well that they're still like, although I'm not buying right now, I'm still thinking about it. It's still brewing in me. I'm still going to check off and find out, you know what? I'm going to call him back. I do want that. Right. So it wasn't a no. It was literally a maybe leaning to a yes.
And that's the thing, is that I think that where we as agents shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes is that we're so conditioned that this is like a one appointment and sales cycle, that when it doesn't happen on that first call, we're like, that's not going to work out, forget it. And we get upset. Whereas how you leave it with people who are telling you they're not interested right now is what will determine whether or not you get those calls back, right? You can't, if they say they're not interested right now.
Can you read it?
What does that say? Be what?
Agreeable.
It's like backwards from my screen.
Be agreeable is what it says. And that's what, I tend to be. I'm a Taurus, right? So you're buying or you're buying, right? So at home, it would maybe work a little bit more.
What do you mean no? Nobody says no.
What are you talking about? Like you're 21 years old. This is like the most supportive. What do you mean no?
Never heard that before.
Are you kidding me?
But you get return of premium.
Yeah. So, you like making bad decisions? What do you mean no? Right? So this is like at times where it would work in the past, but now on the phone you just gotta be so agreeable. Like it's fine. Like, oh, you don't want to, hey, no problem. That's it's not for you. It's sad to hear that. Most 21-year-olds that I speak to like literally love this because they get the benefit that it does, but it's okay. Like that's not, if it's not for you, it's not for you. You call me back when you're ready, and those are the ones that call you back, man.
And that's the thing, right? Is that exit strategy, if you will, once they're like definitive, like it's not happening right now for whatever million reasons that they say. And it's like, okay, look, Luis, I really appreciate your time today. Do me a favor, please make sure you hold on to my phone number, because if down the road you change your mind, is this something you want to explore a little bit further? I will always be here to help. You can always reach me at this number. Again, my name's Michael.
Just the fact that
you can leave it like that on like a
just the fact that you say that. Yeah.
That's a positive. That's a positive way to leave it. There's a lag on mine. You can count on my internet every time, man. But that's a positive way to leave it, so that if they are thinking about it down the road, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that nice man Michael, he took it pretty well. Let me give him a ring back. And you'd be surprised the difference in callbacks you get versus when you hang up with someone and say, okay, well, look, I was assigned to review it, so if you don't want to get it, your family's not going to be protected. Well, you don't care about what happens to your family. People are going to be like, bye.
I'm buying. I'm just going to buy from you. Bye.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Yeah, you're not buying. Okay. Well, listen. Hey, guys, there's like about 32 people watching right now, maybe 5. But thank you all for being here. Let's keep growing this bad boy. If y'all want to drop some comments, share, like, whatever the case may be, do it now. But I do have a 12:30 coming up that I'm excited to jump on. Mike, I love doing this with you. I think the live shows are going to continue to grow, and we'll find the way to be able to pass on. But thank you so much for being here. Happy to have you and your mindset back.
I do want to throw something out there. Let me throw something out there real quick, Luis, because I know you have to go for your 12:30. But if anyone wants to throw any questions in the chat, I'll hang. I know I was 10 minutes late and left Luis high and dry, so I'll hang for another 10 minutes if everyone has any questions in the chat that I can address. I'd be happy to do it. If there are none, then great also. And I'll eat some lunch.
Yeah, we had Michael Herschel join us a little earlier. He was wondering if we were also going to be talking about AMAM like they did in the training today. But no, Michael, if you're still watching, thank you for putting a question on there. But we did not. So yeah, man, we definitely covered some good stuff today, from like truly the definition of building and growing the difference between this multi-level marketing BS or pyramid scheme BS. Like, right, you're in a pyramid. You have a job that tell a boss that tells you what to do, and you get paid less than them. You're in a pyramid, and just the mindset.
Right. Well, it's the quote that I heard that I'll leave it with this is when you're talking about W-2 jobs versus something like this. This hit me hard, where it was like, the salary is what they pay you to forget about your dreams.
Right. It's
Like,
just enough to make you forget about
legit, because if I'm getting a salary, I'm building.
Yeah.
You're building someone else's dream when you're on salary, not your own.
So I am for hire. Do you guys, want to go ahead and hire me? I'm happy to sign up to be your mentor. I'm more than happy to bring you on board and help you for free too. All right, my man. I'm jumping off here. I think when I jump off, it ends the stream. So thank you all for coming.
Yeah. Nobody threw any questions
Let it
in.
go. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, Mike. Appreciate you as always.